All right, you filthy animals. Strap yourselves in for a deep dive into Aussie English, the Australian Oxford Dictionary, AOD for short. And this is not your average dictionary, folks. No, sir. This is a fucking encyclopedia of Aussie slang terms, the kind of words that'll make you laugh, scratch your head, and maybe even piss yourself a little.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive piece of work, gotta give that.
Hmm.
It's not just definitions, it's like a bloody history lesson in how Australians have butchered the English language into something truly unique.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to figure out, right? Like, why do these Aussies insist on calling everything something different? What is it? Some kind of national sport? Like chucking shrimp on the Barbie or wrestling crocodiles or something?
Whoa there, mate. No shrimp or crocs on the menu today. But you're right. The AOD is kind of like peeking into the Aussie brain. It's
Right.
all about understanding where the slang came from, how it evolved and what it says about the people who use it.
All right, so let's cut the crap and get down to business. This AOD thing, it's got over 110,000 head words and 10,000 encyclopedic entries. Seriously, are there even that many words in the English language, let alone ones that only Aussies understand?
Well, the English language is a bit of a beast itself, always changing and adapting. And Aussies, they've definitely added to the chaos, I think. What's fascinating about the AOD is that it actually traces this evolution, shows how words have changed over time, where they came from, and how they're used today.
So it's not just some boring dictionary. It's like a fucking time machine for words.
Mm.
That's kind of cool. All right, give me an example. What's a classic Aussie slang term with like a totally screwed up origin story?
Take drongo, for instance. Pretty common insult. Basically means idiot or stupid person. But did you know it actually comes from a racehorse?
A racehorse.
Yeah. This horse named Drongo back in the 1920s, he was notoriously bad at racing. And eventually his name became slang for anyone who was a bit of a loser, a screw-up.
So calling someone a drongo is like saying they're a horse's ass. That's brilliant. I'm going to start using that. What else you got? Hit me with another one.
All right, how about cobber? Means friend or mate. Pretty common term, but its origins are actually quite interesting. Thought to come from an Aboriginal word kaba, which meant head.
Yeah.
Bed? Yeah. The theory is that early settlers used it as a way of saying they were head-to-head with the Aboriginal people, signifying a sense of camaraderie or a shared experience.
So cobber is like a linguistic handshake between the settlers and the indigenous people. That's pretty deep for a word that basically means drinking buddy.
It shows how language can reflect social and cultural interactions even in the most unexpected ways. That's what makes the AOD so fascinating. It's not just about definitions, it's about the stories behind the words, the history they embody, and the insights they give you into Australian culture.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. This AOD, it's like a cultural decoder ring. But what about that other big Aussie dictionary, the Macquarie Dictionary? Isn't that the one all the true blue Aussies use?
The Macquarie Dictionary, yeah, it's another big player in the world of Australian English. Both dictionaries are highly respected, and they have their own strengths. The Macquarie, it's often seen as more contemporary, focusing on current usage and trends. The AOD, on the other hand, digs deeper into the historical roots of Australian English, giving you a richer understanding of how the language has evolved.
So it's like a dictionary war, eh?
Yeah.
AOD versus Macquarie, old school versus new school. Which one would you pick if you were stuck on a desert island that could only have one dictionary?
That's a tough one. I guess it would depend on whether you were more interested in understanding the history of Australian English or keeping up with the latest slang.
Good point.
Yeah.
But let's be real. The AOD isn't just this massive book that you need a forklift to carry around. There are smaller versions too, right? The Australian Concise Oxford Dictionary, the Australian Paperback Oxford Dictionary, and so on. It's like a whole AOD family. What's the deal with these different versions? It's just about size, or are there other differences?
The different versions cater to different needs. The concise version is obviously more portable, perfect for a quick lookup on the go.
Yeah, imagine busting that out at a party. Oh, mate, let me check the AOD.
Yeah.
Yes, Bogan, a person of uncouth appearance and behavior. That's you, mate. Just kidding.
I think you're enjoying this a little too much.
If you blame me, Aussie slang is hilarious. But seriously, what sets the AOD apart from other dictionaries? What makes it uniquely, undeniably Australian?
It's the perspective, mate. The AOD isn't just a list of words. It's a reflection of Australian culture, history, and identity. It captures the way Australians use language, which is often irreverent, humorous, and full of colorful metaphors.
It's like the dictionary version of a Vegemite sandwich.
Mhm.
Distinctive, a bit salty, and definitely an acquired taste.
You got it, mate. So, mate, ready to dive into some real Aussie slang, the kind of stuff that'll make you blush, chuckle, and maybe even book a flight down under.
Hit me with it. I'm ready to see if this AOD can actually teach me how to talk like a true blue Aussie.
All right, let's start with a classic budgie smugglers.
Budgie smugglers. What the bloody hell is that? Sounds like something you'd find in a seedy pet shop.
That's what Aussies call those tight little Speedos, mate. You know, the ones that leave nothing to the imagination.
Speedos? Seriously. You Aussies need a special name for fucking Speedos.
Of course we do. Wouldn't be Australian English without a healthy dose of humor and absurdity. And let's be honest, budgie smugglers is a much more evocative term than Speedos, don't you think? It's like those tiny birds trying to squeeze into swimwear.
Right, I gotta give you that one. Budgie smuggler is pretty damn funny.
Yeah.
Okay, what else you got?
How about Angr? Simple but a staple of Aussie lingo.
Angr. Is that some kind of exotic Aussie animal I've never heard of?
Yeah, made just a humble sandwich. We like to shorten things down here. Efficiency is key.
So you're telling me you can't even be bothered to say sandwich. You gotta cut it down to Angr. Lazy bastards.
And we prefer to think of it as being economical with our words. Besides, Angr has a certain ring to it, don't you think?
All right, I'll give you that one. Give me another one. Something truly bizarre that would make even an Aussie scratch their head.
Okay, how about this frog in a sock?
Frog in a sock. Now that's just messed up. What the hell is that supposed to be? Some kind of twisted bush tucker delicacy?
Surprisingly, no. It's just a sausage and bread.
A sausage and bread. Why not just say that? Frog in a sock sounds like something out of a horror movie.
See, this is where the AOD comes in handy. It doesn't just tell you what a word means. It gives you the context, the history, the color behind the slang. It's like having a guide to the Aussie mindset.
So if I'm reading this right, the AOD is telling me that Aussies are a bunch of twisted bastards who love to make things sound as weird as possible.
Well, I wouldn't put it quite like that, but there's definitely a certain love of the absurd and the unexpected in Australian slang. It's all part of the charm, mate.
All right, I'm starting to see a pattern here. You Aussies take simple things and give them the most outlandish names possible. It's like you're deliberately trying to confuse the rest of the world.
Maybe we are. Keeps things interesting, right? And let's be honest, the world could use a bit more laughter and absurdity.
All right, I'm game for one more. Hit me with your most ridiculous Aussie slang term. The one that'll make me question the sanity of your entire nation.
All right, brace yourself, Captain Cook.
Captain Cook. As in the explorer. What the hell does that have to do with anything?
It means look, as simple as that.
Look. So if I'm walking down the street and see a hot Sheila, I should say, Captain Cook at that, would you?
You could, but you might get slapped. But yeah, the phrase Captain Cook is basically a roundabout way of saying, take a look. It's absurd, it's illogical, it's quintessentially Australian.
You're killing me with this stuff. Captain Cook, frog in a sock, budgie smugglers. It's like Aussie slang is one giant inside joke designed to make the rest of us feel like idiots.
Don't take it personally, mate. It's all in good fun.
Okay. But seriously, how do you Aussies even keep track of all this slang? Do you have like a secret slang dictionary passed down through generations?
That's where the AOD comes in handy. It's a valuable resource for anyone who wants to navigate the complexities of Australian English, from the everyday to the downright bizarre.
Because who wants to accidentally call a sandwich a frog in a sock in polite company? Although I gotta admit, it would be a pretty funny way to break the ice.
You're starting to embrace the Aussie spirit, I see.
Maybe I am. But I'm still convinced there's a secret slang initiation ceremony where you Aussies gather round a bonfire, drink Fosters, and swear an oath to confuse the world with your bizarre word choices.
If there is, I haven't been invited. But even without a secret ceremony, the AOD gives you a glimpse into that world, that uniquely Australian way of playing with language and twisting it to fit their own purposes.
I gotta admit, I'm starting to enjoy this journey into the depths of Aussie slang. It's like exploring a whole new dimension of the English language.
And we've only just scratched the surface. The AOD is a treasure trove of linguistic gems just waiting to be unearthed.
So for all you listeners out there, I challenge you to grab a copy of the AOD or jump online and start exploring the world of Australian slang. You might be surprised by what you find.
And remember, language is a living thing. It's constantly evolving, adapting, and taking on new forms. The slang we've discussed today is just a snapshot in time.
Who knows what crazy new terms the Aussies will come up with next? Maybe they'll start calling a cup of coffee a kangaroo pouch or something equally ridiculous.
Wouldn't surprise me. But that's the beauty of it. Australian English is a vibrant, ever-changing tapestry of words and phrases that reflects the spirit of the people and the country.
All right, I'm ready to delve even deeper into this linguistic rabbit hole. Let's move beyond just listen slang terms and get into the nitty-gritty of where this stuff comes from and what it really says about Australian culture. Okay, mate, we've had our fun with Aussie slang, but where the hell does this stuff even come from? Is it something in the water? Are they born with like a dictionary of weird phrases in their brains?
Nah, it's not brain implants, mate, although that explain a lot. The roots of Aussie slang are pretty tangled. It's a mix of influences, a linguistic cocktail that reflects the country's history and its people.
Okay, so break it down for me, Professor.
Yeah.
What's in this slang cocktail? Give me the recipe.
Well, you've got the influence of Aboriginal languages, like we talked about with cobber. Then you've got a good dose of British slang from the convicts and settlers. But Aussies didn't just borrow these words, they twisted them, shortened them, and gave them a uniquely Australian flavor.
So it's like they took ingredients from different kitchens, chucked them in a pot, added some Aussie spice, and bam, you've got Australian English.
Exactly. And this mix has created a language that's colorful, expressive, and instantly recognizable. It's like a linguistic fingerprint, a way of saying, I'm Australian without actually saying it.
Okay, but what's the point of all this slang? Is it just for laughs, or is there something more to it? Like, is there a hidden meaning behind calling a Speedo a budgie smuggler, or a sandwich a sanger?
It's more than just a joke. Mate, slang is a big part of Australian identity. It creates a sense of belonging, like you're part of the in-group.
So it's like a secret handshake, a way of saying, I'm one of you. I get it. I speak the lingo.
Exactly. And it lets Australians express themselves in a way that's direct, informal, and often funny. It reflects the Australian character, laid-back egalitarian and not afraid to take the piss.
Yeah, Aussies have a reputation for being a bit rough around the edges, a bit tiki, and their language shows that.
There's a rebelliousness to Aussie slang, a rejection of formality and pretension. It's like they're saying, we're not going to play by your rules, we'll make our own.
So it's not just about being funny, it's about pushing boundaries and expressing independence, sticking it to the man, linguistically speaking.
You could say that Aussie slang is about reclaiming language, making it your own. It's a powerful tool that reflects the Australian spirit. Irreverent, anti-authoritarian, and always up for a good time.
Well, I gotta say, I've got a new respect for Aussie slang. It's more than just silly words. It's a window into Australian culture. It reminds us that language is alive, it changes, and it reflects the people who use it.
And the AOD is proof of that. It's not just a dictionary, it's a historical record, a cultural archive, a celebration of how Australians use language.
So next time I hear an Aussie say, chuck another shrimp on the Barbie, I'm not going to roll my eyes. I'm going to appreciate the history, the humor and the culture behind those words.
That's the spirit, mate. Embrace the absurdity, the irreverence, the sheer joy of playing with language.
All right, folks, that's a wrap for our deep dive into the world of Aussie slang. We've explored its origins, its humor, and its cultural significance. We've learned that Aussie slang is more than just funny words. It's a reflection of Australian identity, a way of life.
So go out there and spread the Aussie slang love. Use it wisely, use it sparingly, but most importantly, use it with a sense of humor. And who knows, maybe you'll even invent your own Aussie slang term one day.
Now, that's a bloody brilliant idea. Until next time, keep it real, keep it irreverent, and keep exploring the world of language. Cheers, mates.